Good evening and welcome to RFL. I am Richard French. Less than 2 hours from now, 10 Democrats, they'll take the stage for the third debate. And just like the first two contests, Joe Biden enters as the front runner. That means 9 other candidates, they will be gunning for him. Let us go live now to Houston, where Mona co-star Abdi joins us with the very latest.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here at Texas Southern University, where in just a few hours, the third Democratic debate will take place. One night, one stage featuring 10 candidates, all looking to be the next president of the United States and hoping tonight will give them a breakthrough moment. Tonight, a pivotal moment in the road to 2020. Only 10 Democratic presidential candidates qualified to share the stage. And for the first time in their third matchup in Houston, there will be just one debate night.
This is opening day. These are the 10 top candidates all together. It feels like we've entered a new phase of this campaign.
Texas Southern University, a historically black campus, will serve as the debate backdrop, featuring a diverse pool of candidates all vying for their standout moment.
First of all, I'm the only bald person on that stage.
On the left side of the stage, Senators Amy Klobuchar, Cory Booker, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And on the right side, Senator Kamala Harris, entrepreneur Andrew Yang, and Texas natives Beto O'Rourke and Julian Castro.
Getting ready to say goodbye to Donald Trump, and then I'm going to tell him adios.
At center stage, former Vice President Joe Biden with Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders on each side. The candidates did a walkthrough of the stage, getting ready for tonight's showdown. That's been a long time in the making. Biden already taking an indirect jab at Warren's "I have a plan for that" mantra, saying we need more than plans, we need a president who can deliver progress.
I think that we start with a plan and then we get out there and fight for it. To me, that's what being president is all about.
And while a recent ABC News Washington Post poll shows Warren inching closer to Joe Biden's lead, it also shows all top 5 Democrats beating President Trump.
Democratic primary voters clearly want a candidate who is going to win, a candidate that's going to take the fight to Donald Trump. Taking the fight to a fellow Democrat can be risky.
WCBB.
And to start, candidates will have 60 seconds to deliver their opening statements, followed by 60 seconds to answer questions from the 4 moderators, questions that will likely touch on the economy, healthcare, and immigration. Reporting live from Houston, Mona Abdi, ABC News. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mona. Now, earlier today, I spoke with ABC Chief White House Correspondent, who you just saw in that piece, Jonathan Karl. It's going to be the first time we actually see Biden and Warren on a stage together. Is your expectation that we're going to see a more aggressive counterpunching Biden than we've seen to this point?
Well, he's going to be surrounded in a way that he hasn't been, because you see him at center stage with Warren on one side, Bernie Sanders on the other. Those are the two candidates who represent the starkest contrast with Biden, and also have not been shy about saying that they believe that Biden would move the party in the wrong direction, that the party needs to go in a more progressive direction. That said, I think the Democrats are going to try to keep the focus on Donald Trump and to show that they can take the fight to Donald Trump. There's a risk with Democratic candidates fighting amongst themselves, because they know that Democratic primary voters, above all, want to see a candidate who is going to win against Donald Trump. That is the #1 priority. So when you start seeing infighting among Democrats, it can backfire.
But isn't there a kind of a vibe that this is the last best chance some of the folks are going to even be on a stage? And if nothing else, they're going to look for maybe a Kamala Harris moment from the first debate where she obviously went after Biden. Do you expect somebody outside of the 3 names we've already mentioned off the top to try and at least have their moment tonight?
Absolutely. For some of these candidates, as you go out from the center, this is either do or die or close to do or die. Candidates that barely made the debate in terms of the polling, registering at just 2% in most polls, who are also running out of money. So when you look at like a Julian Castro, a Beto O'Rourke, or an Amy Klobuchar, they're here, they made it onto the big stage, now they've got to show that they can stay. And then when you come in a little bit, more towards the center, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, these are candidates that at the beginning, when they announced their campaigns, were seen as top-tier candidates. In some cases still are, but they've got to show some movement. And Harris did have a big moment in that debate, and she took the fight to Joe Biden. And they felt very good about it. They felt it was a great night. They got a lot of attention for it. And look what's happened since. Harris has actually sunk in the polls, which I think gets to the risk. Drawing blood from a fellow Democrat may be necessary. You got to show you're the one. You're running against your fellow Democrats, but it can also backfire.
You know, Jonathan, I spoke to some folks within the Biden camp, and publicly, but certainly privately, they acknowledge that the beginning of the calendar doesn't necessarily suit them too well, whether it be Iowa, New Hampshire. They've got some real concerns, Nevada even as well. They also know that their guy didn't come off too well in the first debate, particularly in the questions about how long-winded his answers are, that he doesn't have enough energy. It's a 3-hour debate after all. And how much he should talk about the Obama years to a primary audience that may want some of what either Sanders or obviously Warren is selling. Do you think, why doesn't he say, hey, if you want a socialist, vote for the person to my right or left here. If you want somebody that's more of somebody that will bring back the Obama years, vote for me. Do you think we get that tenor? Does he go there tonight?
Well, look, Biden has entered this campaign as the front runner, and there were big questions about whether or not he would have an enduring lead or whether it was just name recognition, the glow of the Obama years that would fade away once he, started to hit the trail. What's interesting is he's had a durable lead, and when you are the candidate that is leading and has a lead that has lasted, you have less incentive to try to shake things up in that way. And Biden may seek to play it safe, show that he can respond, show that he can, hold his own, certainly do better than he did in those first two debates. But even with those two performances, he remained the lead candidate. I think the interesting question is what happens if Elizabeth Warren takes it to him, not in a personal way. I don't think she'll do that. But takes it to him in terms of policy. How aggressive is he in pushing back? He hasn't been particularly aggressive on that at all. He's tried to basically say, I'm running against Donald Trump. And so far, to a degree, it's actually worked.
Obviously, he's going to talk, as they all will, about Trump and all the issues they have. I certainly think gun violence in this country will come up as well. I'm curious about, given today's developments in the House vis-a-vis impeachment, are we going to have unanimity tonight from the candidates to say, go ahead, full speed ahead on that? Or do you think some will take a more muted approach, just like you see the struggles with Pelosi right now, to define what actually they agreed to do?
Well, I think you will see differences on this issue. Elizabeth Warren has been right out in front on this. She from the beginning of her campaign, said absolutely full speed ahead on impeachment. Several others on that stage will agree with her. But, Amy Klobuchar has taken a much more cautious approach to this. Biden has as well. I think that they will all support what the House has done. But what did the House do? It was this kind of, it was a step towards an impeachment inquiry. Some say it was an impeachment inquiry. Some say it was just setting up the investigation. The Democrats in the House have kind of been dancing around this. Certainly the candidates have been more forward-leaning on this as a group than the Democratic leadership, the Nancy Pelosi Democratic leadership in the House. But I think that they all want to move towards impeachment. But I think they all know that the way they're going to get Donald Trump out of the White House is to beat him next November.
Finally, obviously, you guys got the debate tonight, and it is going to be tough herding cats with 10 people on a stage. It always is. Do you get the sense, even if they did qualify for next month's debate, we're going to have some folks that are going to peel off just because the reality just isn't there, or may have other political ambitions beyond the presidency? Do you think we still have this crowded a field at next month's debate?
We're getting close to that do or die moment, but I think that anybody that's in this debate who's qualified for the next debate, you ride it out and you hope for another moment in the next debate. So I wouldn't be looking for any of these candidates to drop out immediately coming out of this debate. But we're getting close. Some of these candidates are, as I mentioned, running out of money. You look at what's happened to somebody like Beto O'Rourke, who came in, on a fundraising juggernaut after his Senate run, really big fundraising numbers when he launched his campaign. They're running out of money.
Well, I wish you guys the best tonight. We will be watching. Jonathan, thank you for the time.
Thank you. We'll see you.
When we come back, I mentioned impeachment. Well, it certainly will be an issue in this evening's debate. And after the break, I'm going to show you how Democrats have taken a first step in that direction. Also, we'll explain what it actually all means.